Hello, so this is the feedback on your group project. So there's some big things that I'll get to in a minute, but I wanted to talk about a couple little things first. So one is you've got this description of the study, this little dot dot and then blank part here, but then you have the same description of the study here as well, or pretty similar. You've got that double dot and the extra space here. Obviously that's not a big deal. But I would get rid of that front page. I would only put one email, not all of them. I think this at colon is going to cause this email to not work, but I would recommend just one. I would probably not recommend this one. It's better if the emails look kind of professional. So if you've got like a .edu one, that would be even better. But any of the ones that look like names are fine. So that one looks like a name, that one looks like a name, that one looks like a name. So those are all fine. This one doesn't really look like a name. So that would be my last choice in terms of which email to use as a contact email. But I suppose any of them are fine. But I would reduce to one because otherwise people are less likely to contact anyone. That's all right there. Oh, I think I had a comment about these, but I'll get to that in a minute. Age looks good. Gender is fine. I would recommend another fill-in. I suppose you have, I suppose this covers basically everything else, but I would recommend a fill-in other. That's fine. I suppose that's fine. I don't think you guys are going to use this question, so I don't think you should have it in here. I would definitely recommend any question you're not going to use, do not include. So if you know that you're not going to use that question, it should not be in here. And there's a couple of reasons for that, and I'll get to that in a little bit. How important is your physical fitness to you? Again, I don't really think that that will get used, so I would not include it. Why these categories? Also, do you think 0 and 5 are the same? I would guess that those are actually quite different. People have 5 drinks a week versus 0 drinks a week. And then why those categories? And are you going to use this question? A lot of options. I almost think this might be better. How many years ago was your last sex ed class? I really want to think about some of these questions. You had a sex ed class. Hypothetically, some people might have like a semester long class and then that's just one, whereas other people might have like a day 3 times, and that would be 3. So I'm a little not. I think what I would say is think really carefully about exactly what information you want to have. Ask it exactly how you want to have it, and don't ask it other ways. Because this is like, I don't know what you guys are going to do with all of these questions. You're getting a lot of questions that I'm not sure what you're going to be doing with them. So I think it's important to ask about maybe how many years ago was their last sex education class and then correlate that with things. Or I guess you could just do each of these, but that's a lot of data. That's a lot of analyses. I don't think you're going to do all of them. So I would recommend that you guys target a little more, limit a little more what you're looking at. This seems to be redundant with this. So 0 is a no. Any of the others are a yes. Seems to be redundant to me. Maybe I'm not correct. I like the when did you first participate and when did you most recently participate, or how long ago? Maybe how long ago did you first participate and how long ago did you most recently participate? Maybe something like that. Maybe a little more parallel kinds of questions. This I understand why you guys have, and I think that that's a good one. Abstinence, unbiased. So I think calling it unbiased is biased. So you guys are trying, I mean, that's kind of telling people that's the right one. That's the one that you want to have. And that may alter how people respond. Are these the only three options? Does this cover everything? It might actually, there might actually be a better way to get at that question. I'll think about that a little bit. Not, not sure what I would do with that question. Not sure what you guys are planning on doing with that question. Um, these are really nosy if you are not planning to use them. I was imagining parental involvement being a little bit different because that's just, was your father part of your life or not? He might not have done anything about your sexual education. So I don't know how useful that information even is. Um, but I suppose it's okay to ask, but it is a bit nosy. If you guys are not going to use it, I would not include it. I like this question. Where did you get the majority of your information? I really like this question. This is probably my favorite question on your survey. So, was it mainly from school, from parents, from media? Learned another way. What about peers? And then there should maybe be another blank because if they just say learned another way, they have no way of providing you information with what that way was, which is not that helpful. That's okay. Again, any of these really invasive questions like this, we want to limit unless we're definitely going to use. Um, it is entirely possible it could be religious and negative. It's entirely possible it could be religious and open and honest. I don't know that that works as the options on that. And again, I'm not really sure what you're going to do with that. Really don't know what you're going to do with this one. This seems really kind of vague. And I'm not sure what you guys are going to be doing with that. Doesn't seem to very directly tie into your hypotheses to me. This question here, the what makes you feel pressured. I don't. Yeah, I don't see it. Yeah, I don't really get that question being included. Um, okay, so I think I want to talk to you guys a little bit about that one. So, do you have a hard time? That's maybe a good direction to go into. Um, so is this just if they say no or never, it skips stuff, or how does that work? So let's see. If I say yes, goes to how many partners have you? I say no, goes to how many partners, and never, it skips. Okay. All right. So I suppose you do have a purpose for that question. So let's go ahead and see where it takes you when nothing's filled in. Okay. How many partners have you had? Really nosy. Definitely need to be using that question if you're going to ask it. Really nosy. Definitely going to be needing that question if you ask it. Really nosy. And only yes or no. Okay, so. Okay. Um, okay, that's the end. All right. So again, we're going to want only one email here. And again, I think the app might ruin the emailing, but I'm not sure. So you're only going to want one email there. I have some ideas. So one of the ideas to make this a little less pressure, a little less uncomfortable for people filling it out is we could focus instead of on what have you done, we could focus on this type of thing. So, are you comfortable talking about sex with parents? Are you comfortable talking about sex with friends? Are you comfortable talking about sex with in school. You could ask questions like that, or you could ask, are you comfortable about talking about different topics and go through different sexual topics, about having sex, about like the mechanics of it, about contraception, about STIs. So that's another way that you could go. So one direction is you could be asking about like how comfortable they are discussing sex. It does change your prediction a little bit, but it makes it a little easier for participants, a little less invasive, things like that. Um, Another thing you can do is you can ask about a hypothetical situation. So you could ask, how dangerous is it to have sex without a condom? How dangerous is it to have sex with a stranger? And so then you could ask questions like that where it's about a hypothetical person, which again makes it lower risk, less uncomfortable for the participant filling out the information. And that could still entirely be correlated with the kind of sex ed that you had. Both of them could, right? If you had a comprehensive sexual education, you're more comfortable discussing sex. And it could be if you had a comprehensive sexual education, you're going to rate these things as more dangerous than if you didn't. So that's one way that you could go. Because you guys are interested in sexual education, I'm thinking you might want to actually go at the edge of not about the recent sexual activity, but of the ever kind of thing, which I guess is the direction that you did go. But then I also found you a scale, and I went ahead and put it in. It is going to have all sorts of issues about comfort with participants. So let me know as soon as you can which direction you want to go, because I think that all of those are reasonable directions to go. If you want to go with kind of the questions that you have now, we can do that, but then I'll just, think through exactly what the participants are being told up front. Definitely, you're going to want to make the questions optional, and things like that. Probably, or anyone who says that they're under 18, you're probably going to want to have them skip to the end, because I don't even want them being asked these questions. Whereas ordinarily they'd go through more gradually. It's also the case that they're going to be getting extra credit for participating. So you're going to want to include a question that asks them for their code in between the last question here and this question here. I would have the people who are under 18 skip to the code question. And the reason for that is because I want to still be able to give them extra credit, but I don't want them to be asked these questions. So I would like it to skip them to the code, rather than to the final page. Have it in between these. And I'll give them the code. You just need to ask them for it. And then you'll give me the codes that were used. That's how I will know who to give extra credit. Okay, so I think that's about it for now. Let me know what you guys want to do as quickly as you are able to, and if you change any of those questions. But again, in general, I would say reduce. Limit how much you're putting onto this survey. If you're not going to use something, it's like you're asking people really private information, making them very uncomfortable, and then you don't use it. That's really something that we should not be doing. So only use the information that you're absolutely going to use, and you guys are probably just going to correlate a couple things together, or looking for group differences. These two types of sexual education, or I kind of like going in the direction of where your sexual education came from, but yeah, so those are my comments so far. If you have any questions, please let me know. Any changes that you've made, or if you want to discuss things with me, please email me or contact me as soon as you possibly can. Thank you.